When they want to incorporate user input into a program, many Excel coders prefer to have their users enter data into worksheet cells. That said, you might find it useful to display a simple dialog box requesting user input. In this movie, I'll cover 2 ways to gain user input: the message box and the input box. Before we go over, I will just show you the data that I'm using here. It's a series of sales, and the active cell is C7, which contains the value $25,000. With that in mind, I'll press Alt F11 and show you the code that I'll be working with. I've used message boxes throughout this course. As you've seen, you can assign values to variables and use them as the prompt for a message box. In this case, I have a message box that takes the value from the active cell, multiplies it by 0.05, and rounds the value off to 2 decimal places. If I press F5 to run the code, we come back, see the active cell of C7, and the commission based on that, 5%, is $1,250. What I haven't shown you so far is that you can create different types of message boxes, ones that contain buttons, and use the button clicks as input for a variable. As an example, this routine here, select rate, uses a VB yes/no message box to get its input. Now, I'll show you how I got that into the statement. If I backspace over that and then delete the comma and retype the comma, then the Visual Basic Editor's IntelliSense tells me what type of buttons are available, and also shows me that the default is the usual message box you see, one that just has an OK button to dismiss it, but there are many others. The one that I want to use is toward the bottom, and it is VB yes/no. So I can click it and press Tab to put it into the statement. When you display a yes or no message box, the user can click either yes or no to dismiss it. Excel recognizes the action the user took, either clicking yes or no, and assigns a value to a variable based on that action. You can use the keyword VBYes to set actions to see if the user clicked the yes button. In this case, if they did, in answer to the question, does this sale qualify as a bonus, they answer yes, then the commission is calculated at a 6% rate. And then using the else statement, if it's any other action, in this case, no, then you calculate the commission at a 4% rate, assign it to double commission, and then display a message box your commission is, followed by the value you just calculated. So I'll press F5 to run it. Does this sale qualify for a bonus? In this case, we are referring to the active cell. If I click yes, then the commission is displayed as $1,500. If I run it again on the same cell and click no, the commission is calculated at 4%, which is only $1,000. So that's what message boxes look like. Now let me show you what an input box looks like. As the name implies, an input box allows a user to enter a value. That can be by typing in a value, or it can be by selecting a cell range. First, I'll show you what happens when we create an input box into which a user can type a value. So I have the string address variable here, and I'm going to assign it a value based on the user's input from an input box. And the message will be which cell contains the sale value. So I'm assuming, and again, we need to put in error checking for any serious program, but for this example, I won't. We're going to set a range, in this case it would be a 1-cell range, based on the string address. Then, using this statement, I'm going to calculate the value of that cell and round it to 2 digits. And as before, I will calculate the commission, round it to 2 decimal places, and then display it in a message box. So I'll press F5 to show you how that works. Which cell contains the value? We'll use the same one, C7, and click OK. The commission is $1,500. You can also create an input box that allows the user to select the cells that they want to be used as their object. So in this input cells routine, again, we have a set range target cells statement, and the input box is asking which cells contain the sale values. But this time, instead of just typing in the prompt as we did up here, we're assigning a string, which cells contain the sale values, to the prompt argument, typing a comma, and then indicating the type of input box we want. And again, we indicate that by saying type : =8. And the rest of the subroutine is the same as we had before. So when I press F5 to run it, which cells contain the sale values, I can now select this range. It appears in the input box. And when I click OK, Excel calculates the commission based on the total. Message boxes and input boxes offer you a flexible way to let users interact with your workbooks, whether by typing in values or by selecting cell ranges. Be sure your input box titles and messages effectively communicate the information you want the users to provide and the actions they need to take to provide it.